Okay, we're live.
Crickets. Crickets. Crickets.
Galaxy, is everything good on your end?
Looks good to me.
Hey, we're in.
I will be the special guest, Forrest Fenn. I just fiend on everything about Forrest.
Chat's working good.
Forrest Fenn, you know who you sound a lot like?
Don't you dare say it. Don't you do it.
Who does he sound like, Galaxy?
Don't you do it.
I won't say right now.
He's like,
Hello,
right.
everybody. We've got Galaxy on here with me, and we've got Jason North Face with us.
Ah, you're a prick.
Talk a little bit of Fenn talk. Maybe a little searcher meetup info. So, Galaxy, what was you saying before we went live right there? What was you saying? Say that again.
Oh, just how the audio, it makes it seem like that was the intent the whole time. How he tells whoever to shut up.
Yeah.
Kind of forgot the rest of it, but it is interesting.
Yeah, like Jack had to fabricate the where it was at.
Yeah, there's like a tone, isn't there? Like, there's never any specifics said in any of the emails. And then you have these recordings that are kind of like, watch what you say. So it's almost like he wants to make sure the person doesn't say too much. Wants to shut him up.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe that means that the chest was somewhere where it wasn't supposed to be. And I said a theory was that maybe Jack had to fabricate where it was at.
Yeah. I like that.
He had to make a place where he could say he found it.
Yeah.
Not the actual place. If he's actually legitimate.
Yeah, the legitimate finder. I mean, I've kind of heard a little bit about maybe 9 Mile Hole is not the actual place, but that's the narrative that we've been given. I mean, if you look at the X marks the spot. I mean, Brandon, that guy goes to a completely different place than the Nook at 9 Mile Hole. I mean, I don't know exactly where he was at, but do you know, Jason, where he was at?
9 Mile Hole?
No, the Brandon from X marks the spot.
Where he's from?
No, the place where he went to on his video.
Oh, no, I've never paid attention to it.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever figured out exactly where he was at, but I know those two places didn't match. So it always made me wonder if, there was rumor that Brandon and Shiloh were talking. What if Shiloh told Brandon 9 Mile Hole's not it, but this other place is? Just a theory. And then I'm still under the opinion that maybe Jack was always going to be the hold card. Maybe it was located. Maybe Forrest was running out of time, knew he was running out of time. He had to warm up to the idea. I mean, then you've got in December, you've got maybe somebody was close, they hadn't found it. December comes. Forrest sends Dale an email saying it's a few searchers, shared with a few people, and it was unanimous that the search would end. So you've got the audio from October. Is it possible that somebody was close in October? Let's say Forrest knew that they were really close in September. Then in October, they were like right on top of it, but didn't find it. And then the audio of Forrest coming out talking about how he has to warm up to the idea. And the person that was like right on top of it wouldn't even know that because the audio never came out. They wouldn't know that. Because then there was like this push to get K-Pro to do the interview with Forrest in November. Then you've got Dale coming out with his email about being unanimous that it was going to be pulled. I don't know. That's just kind of been my theory. That maybe.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Just how it's funny that Fenn always talked about getting the bracelet back, and then at the same time talking how it was going to last 1,000 years. And it just so happens right before he died, he got the bracelet back.
Yeah.
Almost like he predicted it.
Well, they say he didn't get the bracelet back.
Like, wasn't there something about the bracelet? Wasn't in the chest or something? Right.
It was.
So it's like he didn't get it back. He quote unquote found it.
Yeah. Well, from what they've been saying was Forrest didn't get the bracelet before he died.
But he was wearing it.
He was wearing it, yes, in those pictures. But the narrative they're pushing now is that he didn't get it back before he passed away. Isn't that what they've been saying? I'm pretty sure it's right.
Yeah.
And the Galaxy has those videos where he's grabbing his wrist. And
yeah, you do.
I agree. Video. I think he had it then.
Well, so I'll bring up the article from Telluride. Look it up. It's Craig Childs, Telluride publication or Telluride magazine. Look that up, and he talks about Forrest Fenn, how he interviewed him in 2008, and how Fenn wasn't very happy with him because he was coming out with a book called Finders Keepers. It's on my bucket list to get that book. This guy says he was at Forrest and he saw the treasure chest, and the first thing that Forrest pulls out was the turquoise bracelet.
What year was this?
2008. You want me to pull the article up?
No, you don't have to.
Okay. And he also made this Craig Childs I've been trying to get a hold of him, but he also made the comment that he told Forrest that he would hide it for him so it wouldn't be found for 1,000 years. I thought that was interesting also. He made it sound like he offered that, not Forrest offered that. Because then the next sentence is Forrest says, but I want it found in my lifetime.
That's a contradiction.
Yeah. Well, no, Craig Childs was going to hide it for him so it wouldn't be found for 1,000 years. And then Forrest goes, but I want it found in my lifetime. So, so if anybody gets a chance, look that up. Telluride, Craig Childs, Forrest Fenn. It's a pretty good article. There was something else I told you about that article too, Galaxy. What was it?
Gosh, I can't remember.
I was thinking there was something else about that article. I can't remember what it was. I just thought it was interesting how this guy said he offered. You talking about that 1,000-year thing made me think about that article. So let me see if I can just pull it up. Let me pull it up here because Lucky Digger's in the room in chat. Hi, Lucky. She's asking about which one it is. So you're going to test my skills, Lucky.
We don't want to scare her off.
What's that?
I said she's our first guest. We don't want to scare her off.
Yes, I think we ought to give her something for that. This is my you get to watch me stumble across this live stream. So let's see. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Let's find it here and I'll share it. Telluride. Craig Child, Forrest Fenn. Here we go. We'll just read it. How's that? We'll test my reading skills. It's called Hide and Seek. So I've got to share this. Now I'm going to see if I can get this right. We'll share this. Share screen. Telluride. Share. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. It's called Hide and Seek. This says December the 8th, 2020 is when this was written. Says by Craig Childs. The treasure chest was hidden by the late Forrest Fenn, was not large like you'd imagine of a pirate chest, but compact and heavy. It's bronze forged and ornately decorated in 17th century Spain. So that says 17th century. Is that what the book says too?
No, 12th.
12th century. He says 17th. And then wasn't the what'd they say about the chest? What did Justin say about the chest? 19th century?
He said, yeah.
So you got three different dates right there. You got the 17th, the 12th, and the 19th. Okay. You could have picked it up. Courts, this guy could be wrong. That's why I've been trying to get a hold of him. Anyway, you could have picked it up in both hands, straining from the weight of not just the bronze, but the treasure inside. In 2010, he stashed it, loaded and sealed somewhere in the Rocky Mountains, and put out clues. $3 million of gold pieces, jewels, and small, precious artifacts belong to whomever might find the chest. Hundreds of thousands of people searched. At least 5 died while on the hunt. Well, that's not right there. It's 6, wasn't it? Or was it 5? Is 5 right?
I think it's 6.
6, that's what I thought. So another inconsistency. So in the summer of 2020, Fenn announced it had been discovered. Isn't that an interesting term? It had been discovered. He said that he received a photograph from a person back east, provided the chest had been found. Proving the chest had been found. He gave no name and said only that the location was in Wyoming. Hardly 3 months later, 90-year-old Fenn was dead. His death was determined to be from natural causes. Considering the number of people who searched for the chest, some quitting their jobs and gambling on discovery, this conclusion must have been unsatisfying. Sorry. It's just like Fenn to leave with the last word. Treasure discovered by no one named. Location none of your business. Tracks covered by his own death. It is as if Fenn wrote the ending himself.
Ah,
Interesting, huh?
sure is.
This guy is spot on, isn't he?
Yeah. When was this article written?
December 8th, 2020. And guess what? Dale's Forrest's email to Dale was December 7th. That's a day after that. This article came out a day after that.
No.
Yeah.
Because Fenn's to Dale would have been 2019.
Oh yeah, 2019. You're right. You're right. Oh, 2019. You're right, Galaxy. You're right. You're right. It was okay. Jack came out December 7th, 2020. That's the date. That's when Jack came out, December 7th.
D-Day.
Well, I've always thought that was weird. December 7th, 2019, Forrest is talking about ending the chase. And then December the 7th, 2020, year to the day, Jack comes out as the finder. Okay. My last dealings with the Santa Fe art dealer were years ago. Fenn sent me angry emails accusing me of black journalism, calling me an informant after I'd interviewed and written about him, casting him in a mildly unfavorable light. As an artifact collector, he had dismayed many archaeologists. In New Mexico, he'd bought a piece of land on which stands the ruins of an abandoned multi-hundred room pueblo, abandoned about 350 years ago. He turned the site into a private excavation, his finds stored in his house, a heavy bound book printed about his discoveries. I replied that I had no grudge against him and found him to be a fascinating man. I'd done no informing other than what I'd published, sharing only what he had shared with me. After our heated exchange, he invited me to a cocktail party in Santa Fe. I declined. The word trickster comes to mind. In the early 80s, Fenn put up an expedition of high art forgeries, claiming them as originals. As they were being admired, prices negotiated, he announced the sham, the joke on everyone. If you like it less because it's a joke, because it's a fake, who is the fraud now? He said at the time. He turned around and sold the replicas for a high price, all of them painted by a single forger, Elmer de Horry. It was a setup, a publicity stunt. No, just for sales. Not just for sales, but to make fools of his clients. This guy was pretty harsh.
Uh-huh.
The hunt he kicked off for a treasure chest was probably no different. He may have actually hidden it, and it may have actually been found or not. Whichever the case, he was enjoying our vanities. So I wonder if he was a searcher. It says he was enjoying our vanities. I don't know.
I think
What's that?
this guy's writing it exactly how Fenn would want.
Yeah. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Fenn was 78 years old in 2008 when I interviewed him. Gracious and beaming with sly enthusiasm, he invited me into his personal museum of his Santa Fe home. It was a tour of ages, bits of Pompeii and Chaco, statues on pedestals, painted skulls, rugs, and Native American robes on the walls. He showed off a series of bronze bells he had cast, explaining how he was going to bury them around the world with his memoirs sealed inside. So that was in 2008. This guy says he told him this. He didn't have much time to bury those things. Sounds like they didn't get buried. If you're looking for jars and bells, unless he had some help. One of the bells, he had inscribed the words, "If you should ever think of me 1,000 years from now, please ring my bell so I will know." That's what I found fascinating about him, his sense of time. So many artifacts and antiquities flowing through the hands, it was hard to tell which century he occupied. As if telling the punchline of a joke, he said the tongue inside his inscribed bell came from a 17th century Spanish mission bell. I asked how he felt about scavenging artifacts this way, not preserving the original bell for its own history. Save the past for the future, he said. When is the future? Give me a date. Sound like something Finn would say. Finn
Sure
kept,
does.
yeah. Finn kept the treasure chest in a vault inside the house. Shelves and workspaces were busy with artifacts, and one was in and one was his open chest overflowing with jade, gold, silver, and emeralds. He lifted out a tarnished silver bracelet with inlaid turquoise beads and said, "This is the bracelet Richard Weatherall had made after his after he discovered Cliff Palace. When was it? 1888. And these 22 beads are the very ones he collected that day." So this guy saw the treasure chest, not to mention the turquoise bracelet he pulled out, which was laying on top. Well, I assume it was. I don't know that. He told me the plan was to hide the treasure and leave clues, setting off a hunt. When he told me this, I said I could hide it for him and it wouldn't be found for 1,000 years. He said he wanted it to be found in his lifetime. Interesting, huh? Finn got his.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Finn got his wish, or so it seems. Someone from back east may now have Weatherall's bracelet, along with a few $1 million in loot. Or perhaps Finn somehow slipped out a back door, bracelet and mask in hand, laughing his way into the afterlife. Interesting, huh?
He's talking about the mask that Ralph Lauren wanted, huh?
It makes you wonder, yeah. Yeah, makes you wonder. I didn't get to see what was Lucky Digger saying anything. I was trying to watch other stuff here. Oh gosh, there's okay. She's been going to town. Sorry, Lucky. Is this Child's the writing partner of Doug? No, that's Lincoln Child. This is Craig Child's. I don't think they're kin, but that's maybe, I don't know. I'd never looked into that. Was it December 7th? I thought it was the 5th that Jack came out. No, I think it was December 7th. I'm pretty sure. Maybe their bracelet was on the bottom. Could have been, I guess. He had to dig for it.
He did say the last thing he put in there was that.
Yeah.
Because he had an empty feeling.
Yeah. What magazine is this in? I'll put it in chat. There you go.
What do you think, Jason?
Well, what do I think about it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I haven't paid attention to any of that stuff with your guys' timeline. You know, I am just playing my game while you guys talk about the things that you know about. Is that fair?
Well, what do you think about Craig Child saying it was his idea? That he said he would hide it and it wouldn't be found for 1,000 years.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to anything after 2017. Like nothing that comes out, I don't pay attention to it.
Well, but this would have been 2008.
Oh, well then it's something I didn't hear.
Why after 2017?
Because the narrative changed. It took a hard left. I mean, some of the YouTube stars left. You know, that's when it started That's when the narratives began. And you could tell with each newcomer that put their talking head on YouTube. I told you that I should be on. I'm not very nice.
Glad I like it.
You like it?
Well, I mean, we
Yep.
kind of like you. I mean,
No, I mean, I support anyone.
it's just your attention span's a little short, but
Dude, I've been paying attention. Well, not really. I'm going in circles on the game. Now,
Can you grease your buttons a little?
Can you hear him tick?
Yeah.
Dude, it was funny because our dog, we got a Norwegian elk hound, and they're real high strung. Well, since I had to stay home, I figured I'd play Fortnite, and so I dug the stuff out, and I had 3 different controllers sitting on the floor. And if you leave her alone for 6 hours in the house, she really gets anxious. Well, she chewed all the thumb pads off of the joysticks of the controllers. and with me, like we haven't had extra money to waste on stupid game shit, right? So I try to take all 3 of them and combine it into one controller.
mm-hmm.
And it just the thumb things were little points. Well, I played that for 2 weeks, and then I took these half chewed up ones put on there. I know I'm talking about a fucking controller on your show. I'm sorry, man.
So Lucky Digger, where are you from?
That's the shit that I pay attention to, is my daily struggles. I sure the fuck don't want to add to it by listening to all this drama. I got enough in my reality to deal with.
Speaking of which, are you supposed to be watching the girls?
The girls are good. They are in bed this evening.
Oh gosh, how did you manage that?
We go to bed at 7:30, dude.
Oh gosh, I can't do it. I'm lucky to fall asleep before 11 o'clock. It was 12:30 last night.
We took in.
I'm a night owl.
I got people on the mic too talking.
So Lucky Digger, if you're still in chat, where are you located? What state?
I miss Lucky Digger.
I was on Greg's channel one time real late, and Lucky Digger and Greg and I and somebody else was in there. We had a good conversation. I'm in the South. Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
In the South. So anyway, so Lucky, have you ever been to a Searcher meetup before? Just out of curiosity. I've only been to one. And that was the Fenn finale. I enjoy meeting people. But the bad thing is I'm horrible with names. It's probably, I can probably, Galaxy. I know Galaxy is Galaxy. That's good. I'm going to remember that. Like Lucky Digger. I'm going to remember you as Lucky Digger, not whatever your real name is if I ever met you. I was trying to remember people's name at the Fenn finale 3 weeks later, and I'm like, okay, they said they were low key. What was his name? I can't remember now.
I will say one thing that I find totally ridiculous. So, our YouTube handles, have they become legally bound to us in some way without us being aware of it?
Good question. I don't know.
To where our YouTube handles can be taken into court. I mean, literally, could you imagine the judge saying half of these names? It would be worse than South Park.
Yeah. So somewhere I've lost my my share window. Where did I move that to?
I'm gonna sit back and listen for a while, all right?
Well, that's fine, but I'm trying to find where my share window went to. Did I close it by accident? So Galaxy, we were talking earlier about them trying to say Shiloh didn't get an invite to the
Viewing
to the
or
viewing
to
or to even bid on anything.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's kind of weird. I don't understand that. He had to have known about it because he told Ben not to bid on the um the
On the olive
olive jar. Yeah. And that was like months. Well, that was like a month before, somewhere in there. And then the fact that wasn't it Ben that said that Shiloh told him 100% it was going to be in November.
Did he say November?
I remember Ben talking about somebody telling him that it was 100% going to be in November. I thought it was Shiloh. Wasn't he already conversing with Shiloh?
Gosh, I can't remember.
So, Lucky, if you see this on the screen, I'm sharing it now. Jason and I are going to be down in Branson, Missouri, the weekend of June 24th. He's going to be down there with his family, and I'm going to be down there with my wife. We're going to try to meet up somewhere. We don't know exactly where. We think we know, maybe between 4 and 10 if it works out. I need to set up a Facebook searcher meetup page so people can kind of clue us in if anybody's going to be there. I mean, we're going to be there, so we figured we would just anybody that's in the Midwest, they want to come down to Branson, see us. That's fine. We're already getting together. I know it's June 24th. I know it's real close. It's only like a month and 2 weeks out. So it doesn't give anybody a lot of planning, but anyway, we're going to be down there. I need to get the Facebook page done this weekend. So every week we're going to go live on Wednesday nights, kind of fill people in. Anyway, that's that one. And then the other one.
And it would be for like an afternoon. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, just an afternoon one. So the other one.
I personally wish I had the time to actually like campground and actually get to know people for real. Like, you know, when the masks come off at, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and it's just good to actually know people.
Yeah.
And so I wish I could do that.
Well, I think the one that you and I were talking about in the eastern side, the Cumberland Gap area, it's at that tri-state point, the Kentucky, Virginia, North Tennessee. So July 29th is the tentative date we're looking at right now. It's on a Saturday. It's a Saturday, 4 to 10. There is a camping area really close to the Cumberland Gap area, but it's right north of the Tennessee border, but it's in Virginia. So I was kind of looking at that, and I've already told Jason that if we get people to show up, I will provide the hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, dessert, whatever. Dessert, well, I'm talking something really like already made brownies, cookies, because I ain't making it.
Oh, Brian.
And BYOB, bring your own beer or drinks, lawn chairs, and your humor is optional.
See, now you're making it a weekend thing. Listen to you.
Well, if it turns into a weekend thing, that's good for us, Jason, right?
How would it be? Well, I mean, I don't know what that means.
Well, we're gonna be out there, so if somebody wants to join us, that's fine. Yeah.
No,
we're gonna hit the Appalachian Trail and see some mountains and see what's going on. Just a bro weekend. And Galaxy, what are you going to do? Are you going to come?
I will not be able to.
So let's make
my
a deal.
summer's gonna be-
Let's make a deal right here, Galaxy. Let's make a deal. If 100 people if 100 people sign up for the Eastern meetup, you got to come.
Oh shit! What? It's like it feels like we're on a game show or something. Ryan Gates and I don't know.
Gosh, I don't know.
He's like, gosh, I don't know.
want to meet up with 100 people.
I know, right?
Oh wow, man!
Oh, come on, we all know like 3 out of 100 is doesn't need help.
Do you remember the what was the guy? Oh, the guy from the 80s, unknown comic with the guy with had the paper sack on his head. You could come like that.
Yeah.
The unknown
Right.
searcher.
I'd have to figure out something.
You could wear the Joker mask or something like that. We'll hear your voice like we do now. We just still won't know what you look like. So anyway, I'm going to stop sharing this. I've got to show Lucky Digger this. So I tried to set up a live event and miserably failed at doing that. So let's see if I can find it here. Got so many windows open. Okay, I don't want to close that. That's the YouTube live. That would be bad. Okay. So yeah, what we were talking about was the Shiloh thing, how he wasn't invited. I don't believe that for nothing. That makes no sense to me. You know? Does it to you guys at all? I mean, I know he's got tons of his grandfather stuff already, but seriously.
Just like how he didn't want anyone to read what was in the olive jar, but he couldn't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, but he could have bought it. He makes it sound like he couldn't have bought it. He could have. He could have had somebody else buy it for him.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Maybe, well, what if he knows John Collins Black? I can't say what I know about John Collins Black, but
to
Lucky.
be fair,
Go ahead.
He probably hurt the final price because he said that right before it was auctioned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lucky. I was wondering what Dig was. You're talking about the dog. Yeah, Shiloh got the belt buckle. That's pretty cool. The belt buckle and the bracelet. I thought the belt buckle was probably, if that had been in the chest, then I think that's better than the turquoise bracelet. But that's just me. The turquoise bracelet was supposedly back in 1888. But yeah, that belt buckle would have been pretty cool too. So you said Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. Did you hear that, Jason? Did we lose you, Gate?
Yeah, I heard you. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, Lucky Digger said, what about Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg? Yeah, it's real touristy there is the problem with that. We actually have a timeshare that we belong to in Branson, and they've got one out in, I think it's in between Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. But yeah. So I've got to share something real quick. I got to share this and show this to Lucky Digger. There you go. Can you all see that? You know I don't like silence.
What are you griping about now, Brian?
I was making sure y'all could see that.
Oh yeah, I think it's pretty neat.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have try to get that done this weekend. That's on my Sunday agenda because Saturday is booked up because our neighborhood is having their big, huge garage sale thing, and it happens every year the first Saturday of May, and we've been here since 1993. And all my family members bring all their junk over for this garage sale weekend.
I'm not near you, so.
Do what? Oh, you're talking about somebody else? Talking to somebody else? Oh, are you talking about this, Lucky? What this is? Well, this was what I was going to use for the image for the live event that I was trying to set up. So you know where you have the upcoming YouTube. So that's what I was trying to do. I don't know if you can see it very good, but Jason over here, he's like, "How did I get roped into this?" This would be Galaxy over here in the center. Yes, I would be Galaxy. And then old Brian over here, he didn't know what to say. My horse just passed gas.
Make me want to watch that movie.
So the long live the thrill of the chase. So this, which is what this shirt is, long live the thrill of the chase. My kids got that for me for Christmas. Hey, Forrest Fiend's here. What's Forrest Fiend got to say? I need to pay. I'm not good at.
How's it going, Brad?
I keep
I
forgetting.
am done playing my game. I'm tired, exhausted. I'll hang out with you, though.
Did you say you couldn't see it, Lucky? Sorry if you couldn't see it. I was sharing it. I don't know. You all could see it, couldn't you, Galaxy?
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay. Okay. So any more Fenn? I did the searcher meetup stuff, so that's on there. So Jason, yeah, I'll show you that that campsite place.
You know, and I don't mean to sound so like I don't know, negative. I just get tired of my heartstrings being pulled here, pulled there, pulled here. You know what I mean, though. And it's like,
Yeah.
Just have to walk away from the ones that pull too much, right?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's almost like they enjoy it.
Who's it?
So they're just like guitar players.
Who's pulling your strings? Who's yanking your chain?
Yanking my chain?
Yeah. Pull at your strings, whatever you want to call it.
Your short hairs.
Yeah.
My short hairs? All right, be a little more specific. I'm waiting for it.
Or something else I was going to mention. Hey, Lucky, have you ever heard the name Rachel Morrison as a searcher? Galaxy says, who else is in here? There's not very many people watching because I only have like maybe 30 subscribers. Nobody knew I was going to be doing this anyway. A lot of people over on streets.
No, I kind of figured this would be watched 1,000 times in the future.
Yeah.
So we're doing it for prosperity.
Yeah. But
I'll bet you there will be 50 by tomorrow.
Huh? Oh yeah, 950 to go, and then I can have 1,000 subscribers. Definitely not. That's what this is about. No, it's just a way for us to, in chat, you never can get your ideas out there. They kind of get looked over or ignored.
One of the favorite things that Forrest had mentioned in the past was I love it when no one can understand what I'm saying. And I thought he was pretty clear on every single thing he's ever said. So what did he mean by that?
Well, that's a loaded question.
I think it means that like the perception will change. Like when I see stuff that he said now after the find and after his death, it means something else to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So Galaxy, I've had one friend and a person I've met a few times where, I don't know, their deaths are, there's always a twist. It can't just be a death. There's a twist, and it's like picking an exact day. Who can do that? Like, and like months away. Like that shit's weird to me. And then all of a sudden it's everywhere. It's like, is it fake news? Is this dude like just in hiding? Like, because I don't know. It's just there's always something weird that happens at death. So I don't even know for sure. And I don't know if that's me with my reality is, kind of switching or finding its balance, basically, to be honest, to be straight. It's just finding that balance. And yeah, it's.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Go ahead, Brian.
Picking up a date in the future. What are you getting at?
No, I mean, how can an individual specifically say a time, place, color, and no matter what it's for, I'm saying that day, blah, 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 something to remember. I don't care what the title of the day is.
Yeah.
But just that day. And then that day rolls around and they die.
Yeah.
On that day. It's fucking weird, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, predict like you're predicting your death, or yeah.
And there's always a cremation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I Forrest Fenn thing. To be honest with you, it was troubling my mind. So I literally had to turn that switch off. And that's why I didn't pay attention to so much for so long. Because it's just, I think I'm still getting damaged by tapping in as little as I do.
So what you're suggesting is that Forrest predicted his death?
I'm suggesting everything that's on the Forrest topic has a low vibration to it. And it's beginning to resonate in me. And I have to get a break from it from time to time.
Well, now, do you think it couldn't have not been pre-planned? So therefore the dates were already set in stone?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The whole schedule is in the book if people were to notice it. The whole fucking schedule.
Just like his father had his funeral planned, where people would sit, what songs they would sing,
what message that orientation would send.
Yeah.
Brian, you're asking me brutal questions. I give you the straight answer.
Or how about tea with Olga? It just seems like a story thrown in there. But then we have Jack sitting at a lawyer's table with Fenn. Just like in Tea with Olga, how Fenn got called into a lawyer's office to make a deal with Olga
Yeah.
that revolved around her death.
Yeah.
So I actually love that you brought up that chapter, we'll call it. It's one of my favorite ones. And it's very interesting to me that I have not looked at that book for so long that I did not recognize what you just said. And that almost makes me feel good.
Yeah, I know. I've been actually toying with myself like, man, this summer when I've got some time in the evening, just sitting out on the deck, I need to reread the book. See what I pick up. See what I pick up on now, especially after the chase, and how that resonates now compared to then.
I find it cool that you called it chase with an ED.
Yeah. It's chased. Yeah. Yep. What about here's a question for you. What about the poem? The second poem, supposedly. Are you all buying any of that, or are you buying what they're selling?
Oh yeah, I mean they're a contingency plan. My first question. I mean, I personally believe I figured this out. So this is just I'm trying to think, a normal person. What business is it of Dal's? If he's just the searcher as the party's playing, what gives him the right to? Why does it matter to him? Why does he need that info from Forrest?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who is he then? Who is he really?
Yeah.
To get that. Like I said, I think I figured it out. Well, I think that was one of the first things I figured out. I just had to reverse engineer a lot of things. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is it? What is it? I mean, so I've had so many different ideas of what it is, and I think I know, and I actually drew a picture and sent it to Forrest years ago. But yeah, I could say like a gar, or I think it's what are they called? The mostastans, like one of the very first largest crocodiles out there, like in the dinosaur, like would eat dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a mosastan something, and that's my association with Dal.
Mm-hmm.
He's the biggest croc in the water. So you heard it here first. I just took my shots.
Be careful; they're going to come out with audio on you.
I'm sure.
You know what happened to Troy?
You know, the morning that I woke up in West Yellowstone and I was stripped down naked.
What?
Well, hey,
I knew.
We don't need to know that story.
Hey, I knew at that point because I don't sleep naked. Sure the fuck not in a bed bug fucking infested hotel room. I'm not going to be naked. So I know I didn't do that. I know I had a few beers, once that happened, I knew that the rules were the gates were wide open on the rules. Like, okay, if this is the threshold to strip me down naked, drug me, strip me down naked, and probably take pictures,
Right.
like, who knows? Like, that's okay.
Wait.
That was. Go ahead.
Wait, did you wake up on your stomach or your back?
Dude, I didn't even care. I just woke up and I was happy, and I didn't wake up in a ditch. So, and I had my kidney, or do I?
Yeah, that's another interesting little facet of the chase. Year Forrest gets cancer. Well, of course, the affidavit says 1998 he got cancer. But the story is it's 1988. Funny, Jack Stoop is born in 1988. Kidney?
Galaxy. This is
Kid.
like watching Jeremy try to draw Forrest Fenn. Just trying to draw it out of you. This is Brian Gates' version of drawing. Like, sorry, Brian.
No, it's just a
I
it's
thought
just
I'd get
a
a chuckle out of that.
it's just a thought. It's just
I agree, Brian. What are the chances?
yeah. I mean, there's so many strange coincidences, like six degrees of Kevin Bacon. And it's not just the story of the chase or the ending. It's even the stories. It's even in the stories of all the searchers.
Oh my God! And it's in the words of people that don't search too, but it's just a
Yeah.
different topic.
Yeah.
It's not just in the chase, but yet we associate it, and then we associate real life, and then we associate politics as actually falling in place with the chase, and then we notice that things in our lives start like you could predict the chase at this point because we've gone through it so many times, on and on and on and on, and that's the chain that needs to be broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the chain. So, like, at what degree, what technology, what is around us everywhere that's making that happen?
Yeah.
You know, it's not just the chase that fucking did it. I mean, it's the world, and it's crazy. It's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like, how can I read a book? And then, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
wow, you're talking about coincidences. Like, how many do you have to have it until you like, okay, I live in a world of coincidences. Now this is my normal.
Yeah.
Like when's it gonna stop? You know?
Yeah. Well, something you said, I can't remember what it was, but triggered a thought. You know, like this John Collins Black. I mean, here's a random person. Where our assumption is he wasn't a searcher. Isn't that the assumption that's out there?
I'm actually not sure.
Well, that's the assumption that I've drawn anyway, that he was not a searcher. And if we know him like we think we do, he's not so much a collector. So how would a non-searcher want to invest in this olive jar without knowing what's in it? Maybe this person is a DB Cooper type person. Maybe they're infatuated with DB Cooper and they think just maybe there's something about DB Cooper in the olive jar. I mean, just for the average person out there, think about the people we know on a daily basis. If you bring up the Forrest Fenn hunt, they could care freaking less. So for this guy out of the blue to buy the olive jar, and I'm assuming that he's not a searcher, of course, this is in my opinion, he would have to have known somebody to clue into that. There's got to be a reason that he would be in tune with that. Don't you think?
I agree. Yeah.
It just doesn't add up. I mean,
Yeah. Not what happened to Ben wanting to buy it and didn't.
well, Shiloh told him no, don't buy it, don't you dare.
So I got a question for you, real quick.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about that? Like, you know, there was a big leap in that, and it's like just stirring up the local drama. Like, I still think I find it curious when you guys started. What year did you start Brian Gates? The Chase. When did you discover the Chase, and not just discover it, but decided to chase?
Memorial weekend 2019. I was sicker than a dog, sicker than a dog. And something told me I needed to get that poem out. And that's what I did. And it's when it started for me.
Galaxy. I'm drawing back at you.
Wake up,
I
Galaxy.
think 2016, maybe.
See, Galaxy's kind of a veteran there. Like I said, I question everything, especially 18 on. That's when it started getting really weird.
You know what? I think I went back and watched everything on YouTube, though.
Are you serious?
I think so.
I haven't even
seen
come
it all.
close.
I've seen all of Toby's shows, even though, you know, that's not really saying much.
Yeah.
But
The top of the pyramid.
yeah, I've seen it all.
Oh my God, the whole pyramid scam, man. Like, oh jeepers. So I was right in there, you know, conversating with K-Pro when she was with Sean Dotson. You know, like that was my peak of, you know, conversating and being open. And so much has changed. So much. You know,
My favorite.
Toby stole. I think here, I don't recall because I didn't write it down. But there is like, I don't know. There's a fire lit about Toby stealing K-Pro from the show from Sean Dotson, and then House Diaries and all these. It just pyramided down. And now he sits in the background and he's just sitting like a fat cat watching, having two viewers. You know, that's what most bosses do, right? They sit back after they build their empire. You know, it's not just the pyramid going up; it's the pyramid coming down too.
Yeah.
You know, from the other side, right? And I don't know. That just, he's all right. It's just, I didn't like his attitude in person. I thought he was rude. I'd rather watch him on a screen than in person any day. He's one of the best fucking actors out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where's Toby? Where's your treasure hunt at, huh? The one where you were gonna write a book and you were like curious with your sexuality. Like, where's that book, huh?
Right. Right. Yeah, he doesn't. They never did do that after.
No, they didn't. And look at all that loot that they had. They had like enough fucking loot to do 10 more treasure hunts.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
I don't know. Toby, no hard feelings, buddy. It's just, like I said, you rubbed me the wrong way, that's all.
Yeah. So his going through all the gold and stuff, I've been really interested in that because I actually, before he started that, I was actually like, hey, that's what I'm going to do here in Missouri. I'm going to do a little research about where gold has been found in Missouri. I can take my grandson and my nephews. It's only a couple hours from here, and we can do some, go digging up some dirt and see what we can find. And he started doing that, and after like 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, all the little dribbles of information was coming out. I was like, wow, that's just like Toby going through all this gold, sifting through this gold, just to get those little nuggets. It's like It's kind of like the chase, what we were getting with the chase. These little gold nuggets we were getting, these little tidbits. It's like, was that all planned? You know where I'm getting at the metaphor there? No, nothing.
Are you talking to me? What?
I'm just
Say that
talking.
again, Brian.
Oh, I was just saying, Toby doing the gold prospecting stuff, where he's getting pay dirt and sifting through it, and you only get like little small nuggets, microscopic nuggets, and it kind of reminded me of what we've been getting for the last year. It's all this information being sifted, and all it's coming out of these little tidbits of information of stuff. I was like, was it all planned for this to all happen? Even him doing his gold prospecting, and yeah.
Doesn't seem like the views are worth it for him.
Well, I agree with that. That's for sure. I mean, I find it educational. I mean, I'm kind of interested because Jill and I we're talking about going out to New Mexico and Arizona in end of September for a week-long vacation, and that's one of the things I'd like to do. And he was actually showing on one of his shows recently about where gold has been found in New Mexico. I'm like, well, that's really freaking cool because that gives me a heads up of where I need to go when I go out there if I get a chance to do that. So I can get me a 5-gallon bucket of pay dirt and bring it home and see what I can find. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know why we got on this subject, but oh yeah, Jason brought up Toby. Yeah, a lot of people, when I first got into the chase, that AGK was probably, well, it was the first thing that I went to. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a whole YouTube channel on this. And I should have known then that I'm going to get sucked into this. Because, so my dad in the 90s, so remember AOL? AOL was they had like chat rooms. I'm pretty sure it was AOL that had chat rooms. And my dad being single, because my parents divorced, and he was always like up late at night in these chat rooms and chatting with people and becoming friends and so on. But yeah, there was a lot of times I was like, man, you're spending way too much time in these chat rooms. You need to get out of that stuff. And here I am, stuck in YouTube land. But anyway.
Oh, that whole YouTube land thing. It gets tiring, don't it?
Yeah.
Like, I think I don't know. It started off as like a marketing thing.
Well,
I had to check on the kids. They're all doing good. But
so
yeah, it turned into like a. See, and that just reminds me. Is everybody's YouTube channel still under Toby's like AGK Media thing, that LLC that he made? Like,
you're asking the wrong person there. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
Yeah, I think I don't even know how to check into that stuff, but anyways.
Yeah. Oh, that just. What was I going to say? I had a thought and it's gone now. Oh well, it'll come back to me.
I actually kind of enjoy the fact that this has all been pretty organic. We're not like, we don't feel compelled to say something.
Yeah.
We can just sit and chill.
Yeah.
You can go on with your stories for 10 minutes and Galaxy will fall asleep for a moment.
Galaxy, are you sleeping?
This is like the Forrest Fenn chill area.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So what I was going to say, my thought, I just figured it out. So I don't know. I feel sorry for you, Jason, and I feel sorry for you, Galaxy. So you guys are younger than I am. You guys still have kids at home. You still have, family things that are more important than what we're doing right here. So that's
So,
why.
okay, Brian, I agree
Let me
with
get
you.
my thought out before I
Well,
forget.
no,
Because
no,
I'm
no,
older.
no, no,
Because
no,
I'm
no,
older.
you're not, because you're going to twist it. You're going
No.
to twist it, and it's not going to have the same meaning on my response.
Okay.
When you're done, it'll be a different mood. So I like where you're going with that. You know, you're retired. You can.
I'm not retired. I still have a job.
You're semi.
So I'm an empty nester.
Yeah, exactly. And then how this will consume our time. So what if just hear me out.
I'm hearing you.
I agree with you. And
I'm
I
all
agree
ears.
that-
I'm all
I agree
ears.
that, you know, there should be a law. Like, honestly, there should be a law on monitoring how much time an individual looks at their phone when there's a kid present. You know, like it's getting to that point where that should be,
Yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
No, but what I'm getting at is what if in that depth of consumption, and thank God that my wife was strong enough to take that, because I dove deep where I wouldn't even see the family for a few days. You know, this was, you know, way back. And to be honest with you, I kind of agree with Street when he says lost in thought.
Yeah.
Well, that just means your wheel just went full rotation and it needs to reload for the next one to be created. It just takes you a little longer to create a thought.
Oh yeah, you know? Definitely.
But in that depth, I got comfortable. Like I got comfortable down there, and it was like, and then you look around and you just start noticing other things, and then that whole association thing we were talking about before, that fucking kicks in, and there's just roadmaps to all kinds of bizarre places for your mind to travel.
Yeah.
And luckily, my wife was my anchor. That's what kept me capable to come back here.
Right.
You know, she was my anchor that whole time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's now I owe it to my family to get my way back, climb that chain.
Yeah. Well, I understand exactly. Like I said, there was a time when my family was like, do we need an intervention? I'm like, no, we don't need no damn intervention. I'm perfectly fine. I'm not off the deep end yet. I mean, just because your dad, your grandpa, your dad, your uncle is watching a few YouTube channels, what's the problem with that? I mean, it's no different than people on their phone 24/7, which I'm not. You know, I mean, I have a job I have to do. Now, granted, I do text when I work. I might Google some stuff while I'm working, but for the most part, my job comes first before anything else. And when it comes to the family, I'm always going to be there. You know, now sometimes they might not have my undivided attention because I know there's a YouTube channel live right now and I might have it in my ear, you know, listening to it. So yeah.
Right now?
Like right now?
Are you listening to the other channel is what you just said?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, why would I be doing that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And you said that in a guilty way too. Am I making you nervous? Are you turning red?
No.
You're starting to turn red.
I'm always red. What are you talking about?
I love you, buddy.
That's just my complexion.
You know, and it makes me wonder. It's what is that called in Kentucky when they have to? Oh, what's that called? I'll just keep that one to myself. I almost said something.
You almost said something.
I almost. But it's
Are you
it's-
holding back on us, Jason? Anyway, guys, guess what time it is? It's
Nah, we're
almost
good. I'm
10
actually
o'clock.
chilling.
It's almost 10
I
o'clock.
think you guys, after you guys started in 19, well, 16 for Galaxy, all the 19ers, okay? It's kind of like the 49ers, right? All the 19ers here, they all seem to have a contributing talent in some third person way.
Mhm.
You know, imagery, that would be your side, you know, and the printing side.
Yeah.
So it's like there's just, it's funny, it was a collection of all these very intelligent, very, you know, hungry people. Like,
Mhm.
you know, it's almost like they're heirs of some big trust, and they're caught in the codex, and so they're throwing these YouTube channels up. They're throwing all this stuff up, you know, and blah 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 all over. Well, these didn't work. Let's get new talents in. Let's blah 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 blah. And it's like, you know, who's gonna win? You know, who's the one? I read the codex. Actually, I did not. It was gifted to me.
Mhm.
What was, and then I followed along and listened to audio.
Uh-huh.
Now the audios, those are something, because there's some familiar voices that have been in the chase on YouTube that kind of sounded like the people that are reading books to me. And I'm like, huh. And then when you find out where that searcher lives, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Duh. Like, no, and see, like little things like that, I like to pay attention to. Is like, you know, like pin the tail on the donkey, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Right.
so I mean, I would say you're the only one that I got. You and Galaxy first. Like, yeah, you guys, I get pretty close with you guys. I like you guys.
Yeah. I mean, other than Jason Dent, you were the one person I reached out to other than Jason Dent.
Yeah.
I mean, I went live one time I think I jumped on Bill's one time live. Or no, wait a minute. I think you were live or I was live, and then Bill jumped on with us, Bill Gorman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, Bill's the one that started getting me to jump on shows.
And then I was actually had a Zoom with Davio one time, just one time. But really, the only people I've really talked to is you, Galaxy, and Jason Dent. Those are the three people that I've really conversed with the most. I mean, I might email somebody, you know, out of the blue just because I have a thought, but that's about as far as that ever goes.
Yeah, so like way back when there was trying to think of a way to explain it without a lot of people don't understand me. So, well, they don't at all. To where,
Hell, I've got to know you. I don't understand you.
well, back then it was fun to find the plants. You know, the people that were planted in chat, the people that were planted. You know, and you listen when Toby had his show. You listen real careful to the guests, you know, and see if they already have a follow-up for, you know, an answer to a question that hasn't been asked yet. You know what I mean? Like they're quick to respond. You know, there's no thought. So I used to do that on Toby's show, and I could almost take that list and just, what's that called when you like eliminate two on each and you make that pyramid go into the left or to the right? Like,
right.
And it goes down to one. So I mean, you can kind of see, well, those are the people talking now. You know, out of like 20, those 4 have won the tournament all the way up to this point so far.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a poker game, right? And they're pulling it all the way through. So I'm kind of interested to see, you know, who's at the final table, to be honest with you. Because, and so far it looks like, fuck us. Like, that was a joke, everybody. I don't believe anything that I say. And I don't take any responsibility for it either.
No, I think he's dead on. The Three Amigos. Anyway, it's 10 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm sure you guys are too. I'll see if I can get with maybe I reach out to Jason Den again. He's gonna kill me if I call him again twice in a week.
You're quite the name dropper too tonight, aren't you?
Hey, he's the only one I mentioned.
You're kind of a salesperson, Brian.
Well,
earlier and now.
I actually talked to Jason and asked him, you know, I just texted him and said, you know, I'm thinking about doing this live stuff on Wednesday night. And I'd already talked to him about the Searcher meetup in Branson. Sounds like he's going to be busy, but when I've seen him before, you know, we talked about this. So I just thought maybe it would be cool to have him on, you know, just for 10 or 15 minutes. And he was like, I have no desire to go live. And I'm like, okay, I completely respect that. I said, just think about it. If you change your mind, just let me know. I said, we'd love to have you on. It's not like a gotcha moment or anything. You know, just to say hi, you know. There's other people I'd like to have on too. It's not probably going to happen. I like to interview that Craig Childs if he ever gets a hold of me. You know, it would. I mean, even Sean Dotson. I mean, nobody hears from Sean Dotson. I'm sure he would never come on, but you know,
I bet he's got an itch that he can't scratch.
a low grade YouTube channel like this, he might come on though. He's like, oh man, they only have 100 views. This is perfect. Did I say 100? I meant 50.
It's just another thing that Forrest said. You know, it's you know, when he was on stage with Douglas and it's Douglas and Shiloh.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he said, this was the blaze to me, all right? The blaze was out of the blue. He said, if you have an itch that you cannot scratch, you better give Shiloh a call. and that stuck with me.
Yeah.
You know, I've never called Shiloh. I met the man a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I heard some interesting things from another searcher that was, you know, conversating with him, like just the languages that he speaks and stuff. Just interesting guy. And yeah, I would never call him. Like,
right.
It was my personal game, to be honest with you. You know, like I'm thankful for it. Like,
yeah.
So,
well, any closing thoughts, Galaxy?
You know, I was going to mention how far we've came in the last couple years since the Find announcement. Remember that, Jason? How, like, it was me, you, Bill, Joe, and Greg that were, like, the first one. Well, not first ones, but, you know, we were kind of going against what we had been hearing.
Going against the grain, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I remember going on some shows right when it happened, and I said that. Well, and this is what frustrates me all the way today is I can't even say what I said back then because what I said back then has been repeated and taken over. You know what I mean? So I would look like a fool saying I can't even talk anymore. It's just you're better off just to shut up.
So yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That was to me.
It's all it's all entertainment, people. It's all entertainment. I'd like to know.
Yeah,
So here's
I
go,
think it's funny.
go ahead, Galaxy.
I just think it's funny. I just remember the other side and how they thought it was so laughable. We didn't believe what we were being told, and here they are thinking almost the same thing.
You know, I get where you're going earlier. I missed what direction you were going to take that. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, fuck, I got a video of me pointing at a buffalo's ass saying bullshit. Right? No, but it is funny. They're all finally coming around, right? Is that what you're Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how ironic is that? They're all coming around finally.
But here's the thing, the $1 million question. Is that going to be the final narrative, or is that just the narrative for this time?
If they would just shut up, it could be the final narrative. I don't give a fuck. Just shut up. Like, I get so tired of using the words Forrest Fenn as a search engine just to see because everyone is riding on his fucking coattails so hard.
So do you think so I wonder if Dale, well, no, Cynthia already had that video from Dale way back when. So I had a thought on that, but it wasn't going anywhere. So my final thought is the K-Pro book, 50,000 words. We ever going to see that?
You probably don't want to see it.
Did I just say that?
No. So here's my final words. Okay. And this will come out guns a blazing. All right. And
now, Galaxy. Now, if something comes out, does that make Jason a suspect? Go ahead.
I'm a nobody here.
Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
I don't have a metal box full. I don't know shit. I'm just another dumbass that got drawn in. That's all I am.
You don't have a metal box because you sold it.
I wish. Right? You know what? Honestly, for where it took me in my mind, it would have been priceless to me.
Yeah.
I would have never sold it. That would have been one of the last things because that was like that. Keeping that chest would be more real than a tattoo to most.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's how far I went with it. And
yeah. And I remember the narrative right after the find was how it was going to probably end up in a museum.
And it should. I think it would be badass to go and see something like that, and then everybody can see it,
Yeah.
And it would be so funny because they'll have their phones and they'll be taking pictures and comparing the corners and doing like a meth head picking long carpet looking for little pieces of fucking, you know what I mean? Though it's
Hey,
what's wrong with that?
It would, and it would be the gift that keeps giving. Now, at some point in time, it would run its course, like everything in a museum, that gets forgotten over time. A lot of things in museums it's kind of like, I've made the comment about the Tom's Baby, the largest gold nugget in Colorado ever found. How they misplaced the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, misplaced it for years until they found it in a box mislabeled. Just it like the things that the Smithsonian has that's just sitting in a warehouse somewhere and it's just lost in time.
So Brian, ever since COVID,
mm-hmm.
it's really hard to even enjoy a oh, what are they called? Each town will have one. It's like the antiques for the town. What is that place called? I had it before I started talking. But the historical society.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like you can't even get into those.
mm-hmm.
I mean, those items are literally treasures that are going to be lost in time.
Yeah,
those doors are starting to be locked right now. It's like your small local museums; those doors are getting locked.
mm-hmm.
Who's going to be at the final table with that? And what information are they going to be feeding the public?
Right.
That's stuff that I worry about.
I agree. I mean, I don't know if you guys are young enough to have had that opportunity, but when I was young, we're talking grade school age, we took field trips. And a lot of these field trips, they're paid for by taxpayer money. And you would go to we visited Daniel Boone's home, the Daniel Boone home down by St. Charles, Missouri. We went and visited Backer's potato chip factory where they make potato chips. We went to an apple orchard where they made applesauce and apple cider, and we did all these things when we were kids. It's like that to me is the one thing that kids don't have today that they should have access to.
I agree, and
going to museums. Yeah, 10 out of 20 of the kids aren't going to care or remember that, but the other 10, it's going to leave an impact on them. And right now, kids have nothing. They just go to school and learn half of what they can.
Sorry to break it to you, but there's not even those 10 anymore, Brian. That was like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
There's not even those 10 anymore. Now we're talking like one out of that classroom, maybe two.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that pool is not much of a pool anymore.
Yeah.
And I just think, and I'm part of one of those groups right now recently, and it's like you're gonna have to, if you want to draw in the younger crowd, you're gonna have to add some technology to it. You're gonna have to be able to speak their language a little bit, still as an adult, but yet, find that blending point and try to draw them in so they can learn a little bit of our heritage.
Yeah.
But I think it can change. I think all of that can change because now their heritage, see, we have our heritage, it's a generational thing. It's every 100 years, but they recently switched it to 50 years. As long as all the original parts are there, 50 years is considered heritage.
Right.
So, I don't know. I went on a ramble again, but no, so you're going to have little things like how to garden,
Right.
That's their heritage, like, oh, wait, great grandma, I remember her sitting there peeling potatoes or the family came over and all, it's now we have to reach that point of their memory to, really spark it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And there's plenty of heritage that they have that a lot of us adults should be looking into homesteader stuff. We should learn that stuff anyways.
Yeah. I remember when my daughter was young. I mean, we're talking like 95, 90. She was born in 93. So it'd have been like 96, maybe 97. We actually did a garden out back out here. I hadn't done a garden since I was young myself. But, it didn't do very good, but it was fun doing it with her. You know what I'm saying? And I remember doing it and thinking to myself afterwards, like, wow, it's so much easier just to go to the store and pick up a canned good of green beans or peas and didn't work so hard in your garden. But on the flip side of that is you gain a little bit more respect for things when you're actually doing the work.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
Or at least make the initiative to try. You know what I'm
I
saying?
like. So I need to practice what I preach. All right.
Mhm.
But like, can you just imagine, like, yeah, you may have had a garden in the past, but when you learn something or you've evolved as a person, now you're looking at, you notice like just having your fingertips in the dirt,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, that's the point where I'm at. So I've got a garden started, got to wing my way through it. I had a garden in the past that wasn't able to tend it because work. But yeah, I'm going to try to enjoy all of it, having my fingers you know, in the fin, right?
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
muck. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm actually really excited about it. And I'm afraid that I'll be too enthusiastic about it where I could sell it to my kids.
Right. Right.
Well, it might be a little too much for them because they haven't even gotten into, you plant a seed and you created life. That was a dormant life that and nah, I'm excited. But yeah, just little things like that, even a butcher shop, I mean, I don't like saying it. I'm not big on, killing animals, but at the same time, what if that is part of the ultimate is to desensitize us?
Mhm.
Like,
It's
because it
possible.
seems like every generation, it seems to be more sensitive topic hunting.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're getting babied. Let's just put it out there.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, so I still go hunting. Now, if I kill something that year, I don't care. But at least I drag my little girls out to go hunting with me.
Right.
Once every year. It's cold and miserable, and
Yeah.
just so they can experience it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they don't have to like it or they're going to remember that experience as they get older, though.
Oh no, and I don't make it gruesome for them. It's a learning experience.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and it's you teach them like, hey, we have canines for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just part of nature.
Yeah.
You don't go out. I don't teach them to hunt for sport. It is what it is.
Right.
But no, just little things like that. Our kids need. That's their heritage. It's not about ours anymore. Our heritage is past. It's time for the next one's heritage.
Well, yeah, but you don't want the heritage from times past to be completely forgotten.
It won't be forgotten because there's a tie. How they got to where they are. There's ties.
Yeah.
And that's what really made me bad about Toby. Making a big deal about his watches. Come on now, guys. Jack Stoop made a big deal about his watch. Come on. He made a big deal about his ties.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit. I haven't heard so many ties happen in the last few months anyways. Like come on. Like it's all a big performance. And yeah, it's just where does it stop?
Grand illusion.
Yes, where does it stop though, Brian? Because when it starts to integrate into real life, it's time to slow down or something has to change.
Right, right. Well, I think we'll call it there. We'll end there. Galaxy, you still with us? I think he fell asleep.
I had fun, Brian.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm sorry if I talk too much.
Oh no, you're fine. I mean, I'm not if you know my personality, I'm not the big talker. I mean, I grew up back then when we had family gatherings, it was important for the kids to sit and listen. So that's kind of still instilled in me. I like to listen, not do all the talking. It's just from my upbringing. But I have I am a Gemini, so I do have that evil side.
Yeah, but you know that's actually something that I put a lot of focus to as well.
Yeah.
It's like that old song, you know, love and marriage, go together like a horse and carriage. This I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other. So
That's right.
that evil side of yours, right? And I think everybody's got that same moral compass.
Yeah.
And you know what I call it, and this is just me being stupid, and I'm going to project this on Art one of these days. I call it like client. Should I say it out loud? I don't even know if I should. Define that optimal balance. You're literally climbing the pyramid.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, one hand over another. Just you're coming up to balance it out.
Right.
And like when you get too good at the game, you know, when you figure out what you're doing, you learn how to fly, right? Your hand-eye coordination, all that kind of sets in, your muscle memory sets in, and then you could just submit to the moment and go, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like you learn to get used to the really wobbly stuff.
Right.
So you're like, that bad is like a little bit out here, but the good is equal to it, and then you just kind of weaver back and forth. Or how did Forrest say it? Well, but it's like a kid getting spun around in a circle for the very first time. You know, they love it. You know what I mean? Do it again, spin me around again.
Yeah, again and again.
Well, that's the same. When you're climbing up there and it's got that wobble, that's the same thing for me. I like to tornado it down sometimes just for fun to see if I got my bearings.
Right.
And then I'll tornado it back up. I'm dumb, Brian. I live in an imaginary world, I guess.
It's 10:20, so we'll cut it off right there. How's that?
Yeah, I need to shut up anyways.
Oh no,
right.
you're
Thanks
good. You never
here.
have to shut up. Okay.
I won't.
We'll talk to you this weekend, if not sooner. Bye, Galaxy. He's probably listening to the street over there.
Just stop the live.
I am right now. Bye.
All right. Good night, folks. No, not us. Just the live.
Oh. Well, yeah, you're asking me. You got to ask me where that is.
Well, yeah, are we live right now?
Yes, we are live right now.
Yes.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, this is
So
my first.
just-
This is my
just-
first rodeo. So in stream,
I
I want
put
in
a string
stream.
on the YouTube, not the Zoom.
Yeah, I see that. So you don't. Well, here's the
It's so
problem.
annoying when the people do it opposite of that, and their shit's running all night, and they have no idea, so don't show up in like videos or whatever.
I don't know how
They're
to just
technically still rolling.
share. I don't know how to end it just for this. Okay, so I don't know how to end it for this. So I'm on here. Well, this is nice. I can end the stream, but I don't want to end that. I just want to end the live. Okay, well.
No, the stream, end the stream.